Not today. Maybe by the weekend. Yeah.
Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us tonight with the Kingfisher City Commissioners regular meeting. If you would join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Burpo is going to lead us in prayer.
Yes, we just remain standing. Father, we're just so thankful for this day. Thank you for what you're doing. God, I just ask for wisdom over the meeting tonight, Lord. You just, as we make decisions, help us walk through those. I pray for our community tonight. I pray for peace and unity. And I just ask you to bless the businesses in this town. And Lord, we trust you in all areas. And I want to say thank you for this wonderful rain. God, we desperately needed it, and we give you glory for that. And we give you praise tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Miss Brittany.
Debbie.
Here.
Jeff.
Here.
Cobalt. Jeff Whitrock.
Here.
Don.
Here.
And Kyle.
Sorry, guys. We have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the consent docket. You've seen the claims. Do we have a motion in regards to the consent docket?
Motion to approve consent docket.
Have a motion?
I will second that motion.
Have a second. Any discussion? Anything we need to pull up? Hearing none. Please vote. Oh, it's working. Awesome.
Wow. That was quick with it too.
That was quick.
Somebody put some quarters in.
It's just not showing it, but it's that view. It passed.
Okay, so that was approved. The next item on the agenda is the presentation that will be given by the Youth Action for Health Leadership and on Counteract Tobacco Program. Do you have that loaded for them, that presentation?
I didn't get anything.
Can I send that to you so that
Yeah.
I told them, so I told them that I would have that ready for you.
And then you drop the ball.
Well, I figured, yeah. Give me 1 second and I'll send it to you.
So did we pronounce that y'all?
Yeah. So it's y'all, but Youth Action for Health Leadership is what it stands for.
Yeah.
Yes, y'all.
I was gonna say,
Everybody loves
I
it.
just like saying that, y'all.
If you want to come up and introduce yourselves and start while the mayor's forwarding your PowerPoint.
Yes. Thank you for doing that.
Okay. I am Aisha. I am the campaign manager for the Y'all program, and we work on 2 different policy change campaigns, and they're all youth-led campaigns that the students work on. But they are going to talk to you a little bit about today about Counteract Tobacco, which is one of the policy change campaigns that they've been working on. And I'll introduce them here. Let them take it away.
Okay, so I'm Addison O'Kelly. I am going into my senior year in Hennessy High School. I'm a member of Yale for about 3 years. And then I'm Abigail E. Polson. I'm also a senior at Hennessy High School. And just move on. Okay. So I guess we'll just get started with the information that we have. Okay. I don't have my glasses. I don't have glasses, so it's going to be kind of hard for me to read for a little bit. A little bit of grace. Okay. So, who is Counteract Tobacco? Counteract Tobacco is an educational and advocacy campaign trying to move the power out of big tobacco hands and into ours through statewide comprehensive tobacco retail licensing. The way that we do this is by advocating for overturning tobacco preemption and licensing e-cigarettes, vapes, and nicotine-only retailers. Okay. It's alright. Yeah, it's okay. We work on Counteract Tobacco as a part of Youth Action for Health Leadership, or YALL. YALL is a youth engagement movement funded by Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust, TSET, program. You may have a local TSET Healthy Living
program guarantee in your community. Our mission is to promote a healthy Oklahoma through nutrition, education, and active living. There it is.
I think we should be on slide like 3.
Yes.
Yep, slide 3, perfect.
Tell me when to stop.
That's perfect.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, we promote healthy living through Oklahoma for nutrition, education, and active living, and that is free from harmful effects of tobacco, addiction, and obesity. And
Okay, so like, she's relatively new to y'all. I've been in here for a while. I've gotten a few really good experiences through it. It's a really nice program. I get to meet with decision makers. I got to go to the Capitol this January and talk to legislators, and just, I get to meet a lot of new people and make a lot of connections. So y'all is a really good program, and we've been talking about going to Kingfisher schools and trying to start it up there as well. But can we do the next slide? Thank you so much. So a big part of y'all, something we need to specify is we're not trying to get rid of traditional or ceremonial tobacco. We're only going after commercial, because commercial tobaccos have high levels of nicotine and other harmful products, while traditional tobacco is used for, you know, ceremonies and religion and stuff. So we're not trying to go after that. But I have my own personal story over why I'm in y'all. So I have, I'm an older sister. I have 6 younger siblings, so big family. And when I was around 10, my mom had cancer. She had ovarian cancer. She's alive, I promise. But she was a smoker at the time, and it made her recovery really difficult. I remember going into the hospital when I was 10 or 11, a few months into her having cancer, and seeing her on the bed having to do one of those things you blow into to see if you're ready for surgery, and she couldn't blow it high enough. She wasn't ready, she couldn't get the surgery, and it scared me. And as an older sister, seeing what like smoking and vaping can do to an adult, it could be so much worse for a child, someone whose body is still developing and growing. So I'm really passionate about making sure that my younger siblings, and I'm a teacher, making sure my students can't gain access to these harmful products. Can we move on to the next one? The one after that. Thank you.
yes.
This one?
Yes, thank
Perfect.
you. Okay, tobacco use. Yes. Tobacco use continues to be the leading cause of preventable death in the United States, or more than car accidents, alcohol, homicides, and AIDS combined. Even though usage rates of traditional cigarettes have continued to decline, use of vapes and electronic products have been shooting through the roof, with more than 1 out of every 5 youth in this state. At my school, it seems to be more, probably 60% rather than 50% of people vaping. It's just a lot of people aren't very truthful about it. So
Yeah.
I would say it's a much higher percentage than just 50% at the school.
Yeah. So can we go 2 slides forward, I think? The next. Perfect, thank you so much. Okay, so why do we need comprehensive retail licensing? We have retail licensing, but there are a lot of loopholes because of the tobacco industry. So the current licensing only covers cigarettes, not, like only traditional cigarettes. It doesn't cover vapes, e-cigarettes, or nicotine-only products. And we are considered to be the most preempted state in the nation. So local cities and communities, can't make their own decisions and laws over their tobacco policies. Can I go to the next slide? Thank you. So vapes are a lot more common among teens than cigarettes. I don't think in my school, I've seen a teen with a cigarette, but I've seen at least 40 with vapes or e-cigarettes or something like that, dab pens. And it's a problem because you don't need a license to sell vapes and e-cigarettes. So if we have that licensure in place, we can tell we're selling them. We can figure it out. We can do checks, and we can get them in trouble, take away their license, do stuff like that. Like the federal fiscal year 2023 retailer violation in Oklahoma was 20.2%, with more than 1 in 5 retailers illegally selling tobacco to minors. I've seen a lot of kids walk into some local gas stations in Hennessy and be able to buy vapes. I've seen an 8-year-old walking, I don't know if he bought it or he was probably given it, but I saw an 8-year-old walking around town with a vape. And it's really dangerous, so I want to make sure we can, try to make that change. Maybe the next slide. Thank you. So preemption is the big tobacco company's tactic to make sure local communities cannot pass stricter laws in the state. So if Hennessy or Kingfisher wanted to regulate and have licensure for vape products, they can't do that because of preemption. It really slows down the ability to make policy changes. It slows down the change we're trying to make, and that's why we're really trying to change this. They want to, like big tobacco companies want to control Oklahoma and prevent local communities from making positive changes because that makes them lose a lot of money. I think you're up. Go to the next slide.
How to counteract tobacco. Now that you better understand some of the problems facing our state and community with tobacco policies, you might be wondering what we can actually do about it. Oh yeah, the next slide, sorry. Okay, thank you. Well, through Counteract Tobacco, we can do a lot to educate our communities and build support. We want all Oklahoma to know that we need to do something about it, about vaping and tobacco use in Oklahoma. And now there is a policy that can help. One of the ways we educate people is by hosting events in the community. At these events, not only do we educate the public, but we give out materials and collect opinion surveys to understand how people think and feel. Partner presentations where we present to community organizations to educate them about Counteract Tobacco and get them to sign and support. Sorry, it just says support. I got confused, sorry. Okay. And we meet with the state and local elected officials like you to share what we know what we are doing to build and support our policies and make a better difference.
So I know for the local organizations, we met with the Kingfisher Community Collaborative Group a few months ago, and we presented to them. We presented to Hennessy Town Hall, I think late last year, December or January, around that time. I just remember it being cold. It was very cold.
You can just scroll to the next slide. I'll just go through some of this a little bit. But Counteract Tobacco to date, like I said, it's all youth-led, so you can see they're getting good with their public speaking and just speaking to strangers in general. But we've hosted a ton of events, so 90 youth-led events. We had 21 presentations to community organizations, so some around here, like they mentioned, the Kingfisher Community Collaborative. And then tons of news stories. And the main thing, too, that we're working towards is just getting support for the Counteract Tobacco campaign. And we want to remove preemption. We know that's going to take quite some time. But like they mentioned, it is getting kind of chaotic in schools with the vapes, and having to control that is not going as well as they planned with some of the vape detectors and things like that. So trying to put an end to it early, since we know that a lot of addiction begins before they're even of the age of 18. But that's some of the impact that Counteract Tobacco has to date so far.
Mm-hmm. All right, can we go next slide? So how can you, as our local officials, take action? Can you, next slide? So if preemption were to be removed, this would put the power back into our hands and allow local governments to pass flavor restriction policies on their own. Because if you notice, if you go to like gas stations or if you see vape advertising, it's very obviously marketed towards younger people, all of the candy flavors. For a while at one of the gas stations in Hennessy, we had a poster, it was pink and it had like,
It wasn't like cereal?
yeah,
like
cereal, like colorful cereal coming out of it. I'm like, that's not some great advertising there. But supporting preemption repeal means communities like Kingfisher can make change happen and be a part of the whole solution.
Okay. If you'd like to show support to the Counteract Tobacco campaign, you can support tobacco preemption, repeal and sign local elected official support card. I'm so sorry. The text is so small. At this time, we'd like you to ask the mayor and the city hall councilors to consider signing a support card for the Counteract Tobacco campaign. Please feel free to ask the Counteract Tobacco campaign manager if you'd like any questions.
So y'all will answer questions if we have them?
Yes,
Okay.
right now.
To say,
Very good.
open the floor to questions.
Yes.
Very good. Any questions from anyone?
So are you just promoting this in Kingfisher County?
We're promoting it
Everywhere
all
in
across,
Oklahoma.
yeah, basically wherever we can reach. So we work specifically in Kingfisher County, mostly because it's where we live. We started on Hennessy, and now we're like, okay, wait, we're feeling a bit more confident. We're trying to reach out. But there's kids from all over Oklahoma. I met someone from Westville, right on the cusp. They're everywhere. We're trying to get y'all to be a thing that can be implemented into most schools and most counties, to really show that the youth want a change for our future. We want to see this change happen, and we want to get all the help we can.
So how was your response when you met with the legislature?
It's hard to describe. It was a very rushed day, obviously. I met with 5 different people, and most of them were pretty supportive and understanding of what we were talking about, and because a lot of them had kids or grandkids. We had a little bit of pushback with some people, but that's as to be expected, especially when you're going that high in the government.
Right.
But we handled it as well as we can. I met with someone who had a good bit of pushback, but I, explained, I was like, this is what we're trying to do. This is a change for the future. It's the change that the youth are wanting to make. But we've gotten a lot of support. We've gotten a lot of businesses and councils to sign on and support what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we've been working too with a few legislators on getting an interim study set up, so we should be seeing some of those come through within the next school year as well. But last year they met with 39 legislators in total. Absent meeting with 5 of those. But like we said, we partner with 45 schools across the state, and so we have youth from all over that kind of meet with specific legislators kind of in their districts.
Yeah.
But they were able to meet with several, and like you said, you get pushback, of course, but overall the support is there. It's just making it happen. It's going to take a while, as Big Tobacco has a huge hand.
Yeah, they have
in
a
what we're
lot,
doing.
and they donate to a lot of campaigns, and so it's not gonna be easy, and so I commend you for your efforts in trying to get out and communicate and promote it. It's a bad habit, and your personal experience with your mom, drives the point home,
Yeah.
so.
My whole family was full of smokers, and I got so many little siblings now, and I'll see them, and I'll see other kids around their age, and I'm like, oh no, please don't do that. I'm like, I love you, please. No.
Well, and you wonder how they can afford it,
Yes.
at $7 or $8 a pack. That's a lot of money going up in smoke.
I was gonna say, I can barely afford coffee when I go out.
So, y'all are based in Tennessee?
Yeah.
We're from Hennessy. We have a pretty decent team of y'all members there, but us two and another person who couldn't be here today really try to push and meet with as many people as we
Have
can.
you met with our local legislators?
I don't
Representative
think
Dobrinsky or Senator Yick?
so. No, I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't know if you'd met
That's
with them.
something that I would have to do when we do the Capitol again next year, which I'm hoping I can do again. It was great.
So the interim study, are you approved for an interim study
Yes.
this summer or
Yes.
this fall?
Yes.
You are?
And I can't think of who the legislator is off the top of my head, because
Is it
my
in the
colleague's
House
been
or the
working on
Senate,
it.
or do you know?
I believe it's the House. Yes, it's the House. And we were first working with Cynthia Rowe. She had already done one before. And so this is a new legislator. I cannot think of the name. But we are approved for an interim study, so we should be getting that going here pretty soon.
So as I understand, your preemption is, it's something that local entities cannot do anything until state statutes are changed.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so we have these support cards here, but these are also ways that we can show legislators when we do meet with them. We meet with them typically in February each year, what counties and all of the support that we have with different organizations in each community, kind of where everybody stands on it as well. So main thing that we can do right now is just get support and kind of push those legislators in the direction of allowing local communities to be able to pass stricter laws for the retail licensing for tobacco. But I can pass these out too.
So how do you guys work with TSET? Like, how does that flow together? I mean, other than the obvious common factors that you do, but what do they offer?
TSET, we're funded by TSET, so the whole program is funded by TSET, and we also work with TSET and Thomas Larson. I'm not sure if you know who that is, but he works with TSET and he does a lot of the legislature through them when they go to the Capitol, and so he has helped us get those interim studies and kind of make those connections with legislators as well.
So how do we get these cards back to you?
You can sign them now and give them back to me now, or here is my card. You can always just scan it or take a picture, send it through
Okay.
email. But my email is there and my phone number as well.
Okay.
Very good. Any other questions?
Excellent presentation.
Yeah, thank you guys. Did a great
Thank you.
job.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for having us.
very good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This isn't on the agenda, but I was neglectful in introducing some special guests today. Jim's wife, Kathy, is here. I think this is her first time.
Yeah,
And Jim's mother,
Arlene.
Arlene, is with us as well, and going to be with us for the next week or so. So, yeah, welcome to both of you, and appreciate your being here tonight, for sure. The next item on the agenda is a discussion and possible action to approve Resolution 2024-005 for the county's hazardous mitigation plan. I believe this is just to piggyback on what the county has put together for the mitigation plan.
That's correct.
Yes.
We have a motion in regards to that.
I make a motion that we approve.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Look at that, Jared's not here and I didn't read the whole
I have a
thing.
second by Commissioner Whitrock. Any discussion? Any questions? Not?
Item B.
Usually we read the whole thing.
That motion is approved, or that item B is approved. Item C is discussion possible action to approve the new lease or renew the lease with Pioneer Telephone. It's renegotiated at a little bit higher rate for the next year.
Commissioners, as you recall, a month ago, you asked me to go back to Pioneer and discuss the current lease that they had, which was about $500 a month. Commissioner Whitlock got me in the right direction to track down who I needed to talk to, and I ended up dealing with their legal counsel, and we sat down and discussed what they're using now. They're not sure how long they're going to be there. They still would like to remain on a year-to-year basis, but they did double their payment. They went from $500 a month to $1,000 a month. So I would recommend that we approve this new lease.
Do we have a motion?
I'm gonna abstain, so you guys take that one.
This is why y'all got rid of Cottonelle.
That's right, we stuck him out.
I'll make a motion that we approve the renewed lease with Pioneer Telephone.
Now, did we have a topic, did we have an amount last time that we were hoping you would get towards? Was it 1,000 or 1,500 or?
No.
We were just saying, go
No.
back and do something.
Yeah. You wanted me to at least, Kyle wanted me to at least have a conversation
Yes,
with them.
I remember.
And that's what I did, and so,
Yeah, because the thought was that they're possibly only going to be there another year or something. I
right.
thought.
Well,
But-
they've been at $500
Yeah,
for 5
forever.
years, but in talking to their legal counsel, he reminded me of the amount of improvements they put in the building 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, the more we talked, and, you know, they're a good corporate partner, We just felt like doubling it was fair, and their general manager signed off on it, so I told him I'd recommend it to you guys.
Do we have the option of next year doing the same thing though?
Yeah, it's on
It's
a
a
year-to-year.
year-to-year,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But it's, in all honesty too, the fact is that they may not need it next year.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but if they do,
And we'll see. I mean, we don't
Yeah.
have a lot of people knocking down our doors to lease that place.
That's
either.
correct.
if they do, okay.
Yeah,
I
so-
second.
Have a second. Did you get that, Commissioner Burpo? Okay. That item is approved as well. The next item is a discussion possible action to approve the lease agreement with Clayton's Plumbing LLC for the former county barn at the 300 block of Bowman, which previously was under other ownership
Right.
that we had an agreement with.
Yes.
This has now changed hands, and it's to house our emergency equipment, ladder truck and things like that, so.
And I met with Warren from Clayton's Plumbing, and because I shared with him, I says, you know, you've made some changes to this lease, and basically they increased our lease payment. It went from $1,200 to $1,600 a month. It didn't make me happy. We talked about it. He said, Jim, my cost on that building is about $1,800 a month, so I'm not even charging you to cover all my costs. And then on the other hand, he's putting a fence in, he's done some repairs, he's fixed some doors that the chief had difficulty getting our equipment in and out of there. We have looked around the city, there just isn't any other option for us. It's convenience for the fire department. I made it clear to him that we're in the process of designing a new building and that we may only be in there for the next 18 months or so. And he was fine with that, and he'll keep that lease payment as long as we're there. So I would recommend approval of this lease agreement.
I'm just mentioning, because Kyle's not here, this is exactly why Kyle wanted to up the other
Yeah,
amount we were getting
Yeah.
in to cover the amount we're
Yeah.
going out with.
yeah.
I will make motion to approve the new lease contract with Clayton's Plumbing for the old county barn.
Second that motion.
Alrighty.
Couldn't get it to click.
That that item is approved. Next item on the agenda is Nita with the financial report.
Okay, we finished the year. It's not beautiful, but it's done. On the general fund, we ended the month with a loss of almost 284,000. Part of that was we did transfer some money to the pool and the airport, a total of 160,000 on there, and there were 3 payrolls for that month. We finished the year at $203,000 loss for the city side. But we did get our sales tax in at the last minute. And it's, of the last 4 years, it's not the least. But we were able to put $242,000 in for July for sales tax. And so that's for July. We did finish June with slightly more than we budgeted and slightly less than what the year before was. So when we come to Public Works, we have for the year $500,000 loss. For the month of June, $199,000. $150,000 loss. The biggest part of that, aside from the extra payroll on the month, was we paid to move a water line for the 33 project. We haven't got our reimbursement back. It was $196,000. So that is really the biggest part of that loss, is we paid an expense that we knew we wouldn't get the reimbursement back immediately, but it needed to be paid. So that's where Public Works and City side are. When we go to the cash page, right now unencumbered balances, including the large street project for Will Rogers and Starlight, it's almost 9.5 million in the bank after that's paid for. So. Is there any questions?
Any questions, anybody? One of the things I would say is that, you mentioned those as losses. Those were budgeted items, right, that we intended to get into some of our reserves that we had. And we're gonna do that again this next year in regards to some of the infrastructure things that we're looking at, some of the studies and things. So, again, we're still in healthy state of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just wanted to make sure, although you're reporting losses, we intended that to a certain degree.
Yes.
And the sales tax came in about $80,000 higher than we anticipated. So we still ended the year on a positive note. As you looked at that sales tax chart, in 2018, the high was about 3.3 million. And this year we're just shy of 3.1 million. So we haven't gotten back to 2018, but we're, the trajectory is going in the right direction. Hopefully, with the adjustments with the grocery tax, the state has withdrawn. They won't be collecting that 4.5 cents on the groceries. People will spend a little bit more locally, and hopefully our sales tax continues to climb. And we'll see some progress in that.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Anita? Next item on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Make a comment.
As you know, I sent out a hot topics sheet on Friday. One item that was not included, I got it this morning from Richard at the pool. He's been tracking the last 2 months, May and June, and for the last 2 months we've seen more than 4,200 residents use the pool. The challenge, as I look at these numbers, only 36% came from Kingfisher, the city of Kingfisher. The other 63% still come from outside the city. He is tracking those communities. Cashin, 101, Crescent, 111, El Reno, 402 people out of El Reno come here. Another high one is Piedmont, 144. Woodward, we're not sure if all your family came, 279 people out of Woodward. But Richard has been doing a good job in trying to get the demographics. We're even looking at hourly usage. We may be adjusting some of our summer hours versus our fall hours. The other thing is, as we started talking about the pool when I first got here, you had 13 family year-round memberships. He hasn't even started a full-time campaign, and we're at 25. So he's almost doubled the number of annual memberships. So I think what little bit of marketing that he's been doing and trying to get the word out. On the 4th of July, we had a free swim, and they had over 300 people in the pool. Not all Kingfisher residents again. They promoted it on Facebook and through the chamber, but it was a busy pool. They were really using the pool, and there's a lot of positive feedback coming from not only Kingfisher residents, but from the folks that live in the outlying areas. We have been interviewing, Brittany and I and Richard have been interviewing, trying to find a permanent replacement. You know, Richard's not a young fella anymore, and I think he's enjoyed his 6 months. They've gone very quickly. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to bring somebody on, and he will train them and start to transition out. I don't know if there's any questions on my hot topics that I sent you, because I covered a whole litany of issues. But in my opinion, I think we closed out the fiscal year good. We accomplished some things. In the new fiscal year, we've got some exciting challenges going forward. We'll just continue to build what we started with our strategic plan back in December. So,
My only question would be, Will Rogers, there was talk about maybe doing a resurface. And were we gonna maybe hold off on the paint? before we
yeah,
make
we're
that
going to hold
decision?
off on the paint, and the mayor and I have been discussing that. You're talking about from 13th Street going to 81.
Yes.
Yeah. We still need to talk about that. There has been some money set aside for Oklahoma Park to redo that, and we have talked internally, the mayor and I, about, because we already have a contractor on site, of maybe just seeing if we can get the same pricing and extend the current contract we have. But we're going to hold off on the painting, though.
Okay, should we discuss the stoplight? Maybe get that line painted to help with that stoplight or not?
I think it's more than that.
Is it more than that?
I do. I not to get into the details of that,
Doesn't have
but
to be
at this point, but yeah, I think it is more than that. I think it's really a timing with the lights themselves, but I think we can address that.
And as the mayor shared with me the other day, because we talked about it, there's different qualities of paint. And we want to get the right paint so that it lasts long enough, you know, depending on whether we mill down a couple of inches of Will Rogers and try to make it a little smoother. The section that they're doing now, west of 13th Street, you're going to be able to land a 747 there.
They burned a lot of rock.
They put in a lot of rock. The base course is down, and they'll be doing that same thing over on Starlight. They'll just be widening Starlight, and it's going to go a lot further. Yeah, we need to have a further discussion about that. So.
Any other questions of Jim?
The only other thing I highlighted in my memo, if you saw, I would like to schedule a workshop with our architect. I want to make sure that we're all on board with what the fire chief and Brittany and myself and Tony Stewart has been part of that committee. So we may do that sometime in August, and the architect's willing to come up and share with you. We've got some preliminary numbers on square feet. So it's definitely coming down the chute. My concern is that interest rates have not come down. When I first talked to you guys in January about this, I really thought interest rates would start to drop. They haven't. Cost of materials has started to come down a little bit, but not as much as I had thought. So we're still, last number I saw was about $503 a square foot. We're about 16,400 square feet. But I think everybody on the committee feels it's enough to grow. I mean, if we get the station built, it should last 50 years like the original one was. The dilemma is just some of the materials is a little more expensive today than it was 3-4 years ago. So.
Feds are projecting that rates will come down. Maybe they may lower those later in the year a couple of times.
Yes.
So,
yes.
They're talking about September potentially.
Yeah.
So
Well, you've got an election you're dealing with, and the feds are still, they feel like unemployment was just released at 4.1%. So unemployment's starting to turn around. So the economy may start slowing, which will force the feds to do a rate reduction. Right now, we're on target to go out to bid in January But we may hold that off depending on what the election goes. And then, as I shared with you, I've requested a direct appropriation. It came out of the committee favorably, but it's still a long road to go to try to see if we're going to get that appropriation with Congressman Lucas's support. Mike Sanders has been a great ally. He's talked directly with Congressman Lucas. They're friends, they're good buddies, and he's pressed the issue along with what I've been trying to do behind the scenes. So it's a collaborative effort, and hopefully we'll see something positive. I've requested $2.5 million, and hopefully Congressman Lucas and Congressman Cole, who's the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, both of them being from Oklahoma, and they like to help small communities. I mean, as I've stressed with them, we don't have a lot of options to raise money, and so this is important to the community. And then the letters of support. We got 10 letters of support when I put the final application together, and that impressed them. The diverse group of people that we had requested letters of support from.
Any other questions?
That's all I have.
Comments? One thing I would say in regards to the hot topics of the AMIs, we spent quite a bit of money in the replacing those prior to me being on the commission that are not operating as we expected. Yeah. That investment, one of the things that Jim and I have discussed, just for y'all's information, is what is it costing us to cut off meters? Mm-hmm. What does it cost us to re-engage those meters? What kind of time frame? Because an investment in addition to what we've already invested of what he mentioned in that document is pretty significant. Mm-hmm. And
we're going to put together some data that will help us make this decision. You guys supported during the budget process $250,000 to do the first phase of this, but I'm like the mayor. I'm frustrated. I wasn't here in 2017. The company that we're currently using is not a good partner in this, and it's just unfortunate. But I think we need, as you've heard me say, and the mayor has reemphasized it, it's a new day in Kingfisher, and we have to look to the future of this community and how we manage it and the work we're trying to accomplish. But our next meeting in August, we'll have more details and more information. And I've invited Blackhawk to be here to help participate in that discussion.
Is it Nighthawk or Blackhawk?
Nighthawk, I'm
I was gonna
sorry.
say, I thought it was Nighthawk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nighthawk.
Coming into Blackhawk.
it's like Disney World that we have out here in the park.
See, my mom's here.
I'm sorry.
all nervous.
I'm sorry.
She's
What's
never
it called? I don't know.
She's never seen me in action.
Do that in front of mom.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, I think you got in plenty of words for her. You got in plenty of words.
We have no new items of business, so I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that
Motion and a second. We are adjourned, so we'll now convene as the Kingfisher Public Works Authority.
I was gonna say, so if you want to make your escape, you might want to do it now. Thank you for coming.
Thank y'all. Yeah, very much.
Thank you for having us.
I don't even have a pen. We'll sign right there.
Dawn's got one, but it's $1.50.
Yeah, it's $1.50 to use.
It's got a use fee.
Check that. Yep. Thank y'all very
Thank you,
much.
ladies.
Thank you so much.
First item under the Kingfisher Public Works Authority meeting is the consent docket. You've seen the claims regarding this. Is there any questions, comments regarding any of those? If not, do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the consent docket.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. That item is, the consent docket is approved. Item A is the discussion possible action to surplus the 1992 Ford bucket truck with the VIN number as shown.
Mark, why don't you come on up in case there's any questions? This bucket truck has just outlived its life expectancy.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. But it's been here way too long.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not real sure because it does have a outrigger that's leaking on the driver's side front. It's just sitting. I mean, there's no reason for it in the digger truck just sitting. And it's just a shame that, you know, we took that to Bobby so he could use it at the street department, and then we found out how many of them were scared of heights. And it didn't get used much.
Those streets aren't very high.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 50-foot boom, so
That's a great point.
it didn't take long.
Any questions?
So we're just gonna surplus it, both of them.
Yes.
So does that go to a surplus auction? Or, well,
Yeah, how do we dispose?
He's
Well-
going to.
OMPA has a place on their website, or used to, where you could use equipment on, and so I'm gonna look at that avenue.
they'll just auction it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's open for the
Anybody can go in there and buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And then another municipality can go in there and look at whatever you have for
Do
sale.
we price it?
No, I haven't.
I don't know how to price it, to be honest with you.
This first truck's only got 21,000 miles. We need to make sure we let them know it's low mileage.
Well, this never went too far.
Yeah, it's,
32-year-old truck?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It goes to the gas
I
station.
didn't know how you priced it. I mean, if it's auctioned or if it's just listed on their website.
I'm probably gonna reach out
Yeah.
to like Altech and places like that and just see where used units are, because the unit's good.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you know, I think it'd be a good truck, but people just look at it and it's standard, and I only got one person in my department that can drive a standard, you know,
Wow.
when you put them in a truck,
Don't
they
go
look
very
at it.
bad. That's gonna be a prerequisite from now on.
So, I mean, it and the digger, they're both standards, and people just don't know how to drive them.
We have a motion regarding surplusing the 1992 Ford bucket truck.
I can make that motion to surplus the 1992 Ford truck.
Have a motion?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Burpo.
Can I go for both of those?
No, different items, though.
She tried to put them together.
Yeah.
He said, that's why I just said truck, we just do both.
Get all you can, Mark.
Next item on that motion carries as well, or that item is approved. Discussion possible action to surplus the 1992 Ford digger truck. Did they come together? I guess they did. The bucket truck and the digger
I
truck.
think that the digger truck, when it was first brought in, was a demo
Okay.
that the city purchased, but I don't know where to set the price on them, Jeff.
I bet we can get some ideas though from,
I'm gonna reach
Some of
out
these
to
are-
some vendors and see
sure.
where the market is. With it being as old as it is, they may look at it and say,
Is the mileage similar on that, a very
Yes.
low mileage?
I think the mileage was on both of them, wasn't it, Rick?
I just saw the first one.
32 on the next one.
32
I think
on the
it's
digger.
32.
The
Six.
digger, it's 32
Yeah.
something.
It's vintage.
Yeah.
do we have a
Very
motion
good
on
word,
that?
Dawn.
'em. I'll make a motion that we surplus the 1992 Ford digger truck with the VIN number as shown.
Have a motion and a second.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Burpo. Can I go for both of those?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Burpo.
I'll make a motion that we action to surplus the 92 Ford Digger truck.
I second that.
Okay, very good.
Oops. Push that button first.
That item is approved as well. While you're at the podium, we'll discussion possible action to approve testing of emissions at the power plant at the cost of $14,805. Do you want to discuss that?
Well,
Mark?
this is just an EPA thing we have to do every year. I mean, you know, they're diesel engines and you can't put out too much pollutants into the world because it's diesel, so they come out and plug in their stuff and they do the readings.
Is this about the same cost as what we've experienced? Yeah, same amount.
And they come out of Tulsa? If I remember right?
Yes.
Yep.
No, Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow, okay.
That's about the same,
Right
right?
outside of Tulsa.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
And this is required for us to have a power plant, an annual inspection.
Right.
Federal government overreach.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the testing and emissions at the power plant.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
No, I'm not going anywhere, Jeff.
Now, you're not. You're up for a while, Mark.
Stay put.
Well, he's got to sell the first two things to buy the second thing.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep asking, though, at some point.
Indeed.
That item is approved. The next item is item D, discussion and possible action to purchase a 50 kVA 120/240 pad mount transformers at the cost of $22,914.69.
Okay, so what has happened here is I ordered two 50 kVA 2 in 2022. Of course, we was scattering for anything at that point. And just recently, I think 2 months maybe, we got 4 more 50 kVA pad mount transformers. So I called and I said, whoa, we didn't, Bill, I said, we didn't order these. And he said, oh yeah, you did. So he went back and he said, we screwed up. He said, you want to send them back? And I said, not really. I mean, we have them,
We use them.
we use them. I mean, so, you know, it's just gonna save us money down the road. I mean, but there's 4 extra, that's what it is, $6,000 each on them.
Any questions, comments?
And these are used in subdivisions, right?
Yes, sir.
So with Mike Matthews' project coming online, these will be used. Even though they may be extra today, we'll be using them.
Is that something we gotta worry about budget-wise, though? The fact that there's
No,
a chunk coming out now that
no.
wasn't thought to? Okay. Do we charge for these things?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's imperative, I mean, I've gotten most of my price list now, so we can start doing billing for their meters. You know, we're gonna start charging for the can, we're gonna start charging for the meter. I think we need to be more active when we do this.
Right.
Because, what, $200 a meter, Jim? Isn't that
Right.
what we figured?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how many have we installed the last 4 years?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we're starting to cover our costs.
Right, sounds good.
But these pad mounts are charged to the builder, and then he passes it on to the homeowner.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Do we have a motion?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we purchase the 50 kVA
Yeah, I
pad
second
mount
that.
transformers.
Oh, you weren't done. I second it.
And there was 6, 4, does that matter on that, Brittany? It just a 50 kVA, but it's
Oh, because
actually
that's pad
4.
amount, not pads.
It's in the attachment, I think, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has
Well, I
amount.
just didn't want
Mm-hmm.
something else to come up and
Helpful,
For sure,
because Jared's
for
missing,
sure.
I understand. Get it all the ducks in a row.
It says transformers.
Okay,
We can add it to if you want.
Yeah.
That's fine.
okay. Thank
Mark.
you.
Thank you.
Oh, and
Oh, geez.
Oh, jeez. Come on, boss, you know better than
There's the
that.
meme.
You know, there used to be a time you were worried about the fact that our heads didn't come up here and talk, so.
Now you wanna give him a timer.
Right, now you want to sit down.
So anyway, Guy Rodell, he's been with us 4 years, coming up on 4 years, and he passed his journeyman certificate.
Oh, very good.
So that means that we have, what, 5 in the house?
Very nice.
Awesome.
So, I mean, hard part's gonna be keeping them now.
Yeah, for sure.
And why don't you even comment, the OMPA was here last week. They
Yes.
placed a couple of poles in the back that were challenge poles for, in the alleyway.
Did one up behind Design T-shirt place there. They did that dead end there. They really did. And they did it all hot. I mean, it was 100 degrees.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, it was
That
very hot.
contract's worked out well then.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
It
very good.
has.
That item carries. There's
Thank
no new
you.
business, so I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Jeff, you gotta get in and earn your $1.50 for this pen.
That item, so we are adjourned. As Kingfisher Public Works Authority will now convene as Kingfisher Recreational Authority.
You get an extra 50 cents for every motion.
First item is the consent docket. Any questions, comments, anything we need to pull out? If not, do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the consent docket.
Second,
There you go, 25 cents.
25. Cookies for the chamber.
There you go.
Good job, Richard. Did you get your embroidered hat?
I actually did.
Okay. Picture the bear got one. He's not here. Give him a hard time.
That would extend the meeting
Yes,
another
it would.
20 minutes. That item carries. Next item on the agenda is the discussion of possible action to trade a Case IHC 70 tractor with a GB loader to purchase a Case IH Farmall 55A four-wheel drive tractor with a loader for the purchase price of $39,876.
Gary and Ryan, why don't you come up?
We waited all this time for just this.
Well, they're excited about this
Okay.
this tractor.
Okay?
This is one of the few times I went out. Ryan took me down to our Case dealer. He got a couple of bids, John Deere and Case. What they're trading in is a 1994
Yep.
Yes.
Case that has outlived its life expectancy.
The hour meter quit at 5,000 hours,
Nice.
and that was about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So I can't tell you what's on.
So when I saw the price, I said, Ryan, I got to go look at this tractor. So I went out there. The one we're trading in has no cab. This one has a cab. It's got air conditioning. It's got heating. It's got a front end loader.
That's just spoiling people.
What did I tell you, Ryan?
Yeah, but my thing is on it though, even though it's four-wheel drive, we don't necessarily need the four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But like during snowstorm stuff, we can use it to help streets department. And also too, we use our backhoe for the cemetery to do a lot of dirt work.
I wasn't talking about four-wheel drive, I was talking about cab.
But
But isn't it standard?
well, I ain't got no problem with that.
Maybe talk to the electric department.
Go talk to Mark.
I remember driving that thing. If you miss a gear, you're getting run over. That thing won't get out of its own way.
It is brand new, but it's it's a 2023 model. It's the last one they have on the lot. So we not only got a good price, and they realized that I had to remind them we're a not-for-profit organization. So I feel good about this price and the trade-in of our old one. I highlighted the luxuries they're getting with air conditioning and heating in the winter. But they are definitely appreciative of it. We budgeted 45,000 in the budget, so this came in under budget, and it's competitively priced with John Deere, so.
So now, will you be able to get anybody out of that tractor once they get in it, Gary?
Yep.
They won't come out of the
Oh, no,
cab.
he's the one running it.
We'll be getting out.
Okay, all right.
A lot of other things to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And they'll pick up our old one and deliver the new one, that's
Yeah.
my
Oh, that's
understanding,
awesome.
yeah.
So that 39,000, I mean, is considering the trade-in,
Yeah.
whatever they gave us.
Yeah,
for it.
3,500 for that.
$3,500.
And I don't think you would've got that much at auction.
No,
Yeah, sounds good.
they're probably gonna put it in a museum.
Yeah, 'cause the tires are junk on it, the clutches are gone on it.
So it's kind of like an automatic.
Yeah.
All right, motion to approve the trade for the C70 tractor with the new one from Brother Brothers.
I'm gonna second that.
This thing better be in the parade.
That's right.
We can do it, right?
Christmas parade.
I was gonna say, cause they'll be in the cab nice and comfortable, so.
right.
Yeah, it'll be heated, yeah, that's right.
Me and Jim may be in that time. I'll put him in the bucket, I'll be in the cab.
Hey, you remember it's got that little seat you told me?
Yeah, I know.
He ain't fitting. Hannah barely got him side by side.
Oh, it's so cozy in there.
Please get a picture for us. The two of them in it.
No,
We need
that ain't happening. All right. Yeah, I need to get off the record real quick. Cut that off. So we have no new items of business. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Yeah, I second that.
Yay.
No order.
Last dollar, and you didn't get
Yeah,
it.
I'm saying,
That's right.
guess I'll be billing you for this.
Anybody have anything else to say? So I'm just kidding.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Karen, right? We are adjourned.